Yeah. So teacher has to make sure that teacher is following the proper handwriting format first, either the cursive handwriting or the manuscript handwriting. And the next thing which we have to make sure is while we are correcting the spellings, we should not overwrite it. What we have to do as a proper teacher is we have to put two lines under a word. For example, if this is my word, what I have to do is I have to put two lines under this word, and then yeah, or else you can circle the word. Okay, or else you can circle the word, and above that you can write the correct spelling. And while teacher is correcting the notebooks, make sure that teacher is writing in proper handwriting. It is not that we are writing as if we like. The first, when the parent opens the notebook, he or she might feel, teacher ka hi handwriting itna ganda hai, abhi ye mere bachche ko kya padhayenge? Isn't it? You are in a hurry for correcting, but still your correction should be neat. Certain teachers have this habit, they put a very big tick mark. You know, it is not encouraged. It's not like that. Correction work also should be done in a neat, pleasant, and a very good, beautiful manner. That is where the teacher's love for his or her profession is found. This is about errors. And yeah, so we should encourage children to avoid the spelling mistakes. So moving on to the next point, it is incorrect words and answers. You know, you have to use your red pen wisely. We shouldn't think I have been given the right to use a red pen and strike out the whole answer. You know, the children become, like demotivated. Okay, so what the teacher does is, teacher does the correction beautifully, just underline wherever the children have to work upon their answers, and put a proper tick mark, a small tick mark, and you have to highlight the mistake, and you have to write the proper answer there. Children shouldn't get disheartened and disencouraged looking at the corrections of the teacher. And always never shout at the children for, I'm telling this again and again, we are there to correct the children. Okay. So as we are there to correct the children, it is our duty that we, inculcate the habit of being patient towards these small children. And then we teach them how to write properly. But we are not supposed to, shout at the children for their spelling mistakes or bad handwriting. And then the student develops a positive attitude towards the teacher. He starts loving his teacher. Once the child loves the teacher, he starts doing his notebook properly. And certain times it so happens that certain spellings and all, children are doing again and again the mistakes. So what you can do is, after the correction itself, therein you can ask the child to practice 5 times or 10 times. It's an option for you. You can do that. And now coming to high school, I have to indicate this errors, So you can use certain symbols like this. For example, you found a spelling mistake. You can write SP with your red pen there. And you are not actually, feeding the child completely. So you are mentioning it as a spelling mistake. The child will go and check what is the spelling mistake over there. So what is happening is, next time there are very less chances. The chances of committing spelling mistake will become very less. In case of languages, you can highlight on tenses, because children are coming up in high school, children are coming up with their own answers. So you can mention the tense is wrong or the verb is wrong. Okay, you can use the verb, the letter T or V over there. If any word is missing, you can use this symbol, this symbol. If punctuation is not there, you can just put a flower bracket and you can write P. Okay, if you feel that in creative writing, certain sentences are unnecessary, you can just write U. Okay, if you find word formations are not proper, you can write word formation is not proper. In any language, might be it is English, might be it is Hindi, like proper observation, including spelling, capitalization, punctuation, formation of the sentence, grammar, dictation, the structure, everything has to be thoroughly checked. It is very much important. It is not just your examination paper that you check thoroughly. You have to check the notebooks of the children also very thoroughly. And And there are different techniques that each subject teacher use. Math book is not corrected the same way as you correct the science book. And it is not the same way that you correct the social book. The basic correction will remain the same. Putting tick mark, highlighting the spelling mistakes and all. But where you have to emphasize is in math, it so happens that if there are 20 problems in an exercise, the teacher will give 5 problems and she will ask all the children to solve the rest of the, what do we say, problems. So in that case, where the teacher has to emphasize upon the steps, whether the children have followed the necessary steps which are needed to solve the problem, whether the children have properly applied the formula. Certain times it so happens that children will just do 2-3 steps and they will directly write the answer. So math teacher should take care of this, that the children are following the step-by-step process of solving the sum. And if you feel that the child hasn't followed, beside the problem, you have to write with your red pen the missing, steps. And when we were studying, these days I'm not finding teachers who are encouraging children to draw a rough column. So we had a book called as Math Rule book initially, in which there was a, 2-finger width or 3-finger width, column towards the right side. These days, after we have got ruled books into high school, teachers are not encouraging this, rough column, making the children draw the rough column. I don't know why, but I didn't find any reason for not doing it. Math teachers should always encourage children to draw a rough column with a HB pencil and do the rough work over there instead of making the whole notebook clumsy. And always remember, whichever subject it is, use 2 color pens. One color pen, maybe it is your black pen, for writing subheadings, question numbers or questions. Certain times you can use a pen, and for answers or solutions you can use another pen. That will make the work of the children more, beautiful. And it looks, we should have a feeling of opening the notebooks and reading, isn't it? So science teachers should emphasize upon diagrams. Social teachers can also emphasize on diagrams as well as your maps, if needed, certain mind maps and all, isn't it? So as we are integrating art, always encourage children to draw a concept map of the lesson that you have taught at the end of the notes. Ask them to, depending upon the theme of the lesson, ask the children to come up with some artistic work at the end of the lesson and give the marks over there, wherein it will be useful for your subject enrichment activity to award the marks in the progress card. So these different techniques, the teachers can use. Always make sure that you are encouraging the child. Do not discourage the child through your corrections. And coming to remarks, remarks is a very important thing. Certain teachers will write very dirty handwriting. You have to improve. We are not supposed to write like that. Always use one sentence. Tried well, can do better. This will be more positive. You have to improve. Who are we to judge? We are no one to judge, right? Who are we to say you have to improve? We are supposed to always humbly give the suggestions. Okay, because he's an individual. Though those days of thinking that we are a guru and he is the Sishya, we will take a cane, and these things are not applicable these days. Children have become very matured these days. So we have to make sure that we give the respect which he or she deserves as an individual. So teachers' positive remarks on the notebook will always effectively make a great appeal and sense in the student's mind. The teacher always makes his or her learners sensible, and he or she should write rational, relevant, and concrete remarks in students' notebooks. Just don't write remarks as you like. And write detailed comment to sensitize the students. Like you have to work on your, sentence formation. You have to work on your spellings. You have to work on your handwriting. You have to work on beautifying your notebook more. In this way, proper, detailed, concrete remarks are to be given. and also do a follow-up. Okay, from lesson to lesson. Is the child applying the feedback which you have given or not? This is very much important. So yeah, you have to do that. And you can also give suggestions to improve their writing skills as well as handwriting. And like especially for kindergarten and primary teachers, what I would say is you give stickers, stars and smileys, some sort of appreciation to award the children after every lesson, so that the other children, who are really struggling to come up with good maintenance of notes or good writing of notes, they will get zeal. I should also get a smiley. I should also get a star. Okay. And always give example of neatness. And who can be a best example for children is you. So what I suggest is teachers should make their own teaching notes first. Teachers' notes. There is lots of difference between a teaching notes and a teacher's notes. Teaching notes is different. What we think is all the question answers, new words which we want to give to the children, that is teacher's notes. It is not teaching notes. It's not teaching notes. It is teacher's notes. Teaching notes is something a teacher sits and prepares for teaching in the class. Okay, so it's a very different aspect how to write it and all.
Can you please repeat this point?
Teaching notes is something a teacher sits and writes. Basically, it's a preparatory notes for the teacher to take the class. Okay, which a teacher does on daily basis. Teacher's notes is the actual master copy of notes which you want to give in the class. Okay, so that is the difference between teaching notes and teacher's notes. And always remember, appreciate. Let it be very dirty, but appreciate the children for what they have done. Children will feel that my teacher is very good, because children know whether they're writing better or not. My teacher is very good that she's encouraging me constantly, and use very good words like good, excellent, fair, good job, such sort of things. And in case of creative writing, you can also write good content, well tried, such sort of remarks. So this is all about remarks. Make sure that we all give good remarks always. Now, the next challenge which teachers face is absentees, long absentees. What should we do in the case of long absentees? Just help them, like if in case the child is, like actually sick, he is not coming. So you should show some concern towards them. You should, if your child is not well, how you deal with your child. You write a notes for the child, isn't it? I am not telling you people have to write the notes, but at least you can take a pick of your master notes and you can send it to the parent and leave a message. Ma'am, please get it completed and stuff. Like always make sure that you're checking the incomplete work. Every 3 or 4 days, you have to take the notebooks and you have to check. And give some time for the children. Take permission from your academic coordinators or in charges or your principal or vice principal, and give some time to those children who are long absentees. So this is what you can do in the case of long absentees. And the next thing is that, what about late submissions?
Sir, what is your viewpoint on if the student is not present for a certain days, if long absentees, if the school put fine, absentees for a fine?
Sir, it depends. Long absentees, we cannot. Actually, there is no rule that we have to charge fine, because we are all CBSE affiliated schools and we don't encourage that. You can emphasize on one point that 70 to 75% of attendance is very important. And in case of long absentees, you ask for a doctor's certificate. The doctor has to, for example, if the child is absent for more than 4 or 5 days, ask for a doctor's certificate and file it in the portfolio of the child. But I don't think asking a fine is a good point, because you will be bad-mouthed. They will ask money if they are absent and all. Like parents, they are not teachers basically. Certain times you have parents who are coming from business background, parents who are, different who are into different professions, they might not feel it good if you charge for them for being absent. You have to always make.
To see it on the base level. Then if you are charging a child for being an absentee, see, we do not know the actual reason. At times the
Yeah.
parents also hide the reason. Maybe the major reason is not known to us.
Yes,
So
yes.
that will be an impression on the parent that how come the teacher charge this kind of
Exactly. So we don't.
fine or something? We don't know our position.
Yeah, we should not encourage. I don't basically encourage fines for absenteeism. You ask a doctor certificate, or else in case of girls and all, certain times it can be reasons which they cannot share with men. So you can call for a senior most female teacher in that case. Let the senior most female teacher speak to the mother of the child. What has actually happened, and we need not dwell into the reasons in case of girls. But always take a certificate, doctor certificate, and file in the portfolio of the child. So in that case, late submission and all, always write a remark at the end of the notes that late submission, and put your signature with the date. Always put a remark in case of late submission, so that when the parents actually come, these are the parents who come and fight at times. My child's academics are not good. At that time, we can actually show the reason. See, like he's not completing his work. We are trying our level best, and we request you to kindly do the necessary hand holding at home also. And the next thing is,
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask a doubt regarding late submission?
yes, ma'am, please.
In that case, when the children are late in submitting, some few students are regularly doing that. I'm sorry. Are we supposed to correct the book word to word in that case also, sir?
In that case, it's a very good question that you have asked. For example, we have an exam tomorrow and the child is submitting today, and you have 4 to 5 books. If it is 1 or 2 books, it can happen that you are giving some notes or the children are revising, and for 5 minutes you can just 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes you can spend and correct notebook soon. But in case you have many late submissions and you have tomorrow the exam, the child have to carry the notebook to home, then I don't suggest. There is no point. You will not get time if you're taking 6 periods.
Share one of my experience here. What I usually do it, like I work on the priority basis that time. See, if it's a late submission, and you gave an example, like tomorrow the child is having an exam and the notebook is still not checked. So what I'll do is I'll only majorly focus on the question answers thing, specifically because word meanings the child can do from books. Spelling, vocab, everything they can do from books.
But Miss
So
Poonam ma'am, the concern which was raised is that even if you have to check the question answers, you need time. In the case of a teacher who is, in the case of a teacher who is taking 6 periods.
If the child is not having that word checked, then obviously the parent in the evening will be calling that, ma'am, this and this work
so
so we can write down late submission with the date and sign, with the note that don't repeat it in future, and we can at least check question answers properly, and everywhere else we can write scene.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I need to ask one doubt. Ma'am told me now, just no priority basis, no. In the class, all the students will be not same. See, the students will be like, some of the students IQ power will be very high. They'll study well. They're good at the subject. They have basic knowledge, all those things. Some of the students, they doesn't have basic knowledge only. For that type of situation, how can we handle the class, sir, at that moment? How we are supposed to take the class to go as usual?
No, the point of discussion here is correction. So correction happens basically on what you are giving.
No, sir. Ma'am told a priority basis means
no priority. What Miss Poonam has said is priority in the sense, in the case of corrections, tomorrow if the child has got an exam and today the notebook has to be checked, what Miss Poonam has said is, I will check the question answers, word meanings and new terms the child can learn from the textbook. Okay, because they are already highlighted in the textbook. What I do is I will check the question answers which are written by the child. Okay, because there he
Okay.
needs some corrections. Priority in the case of what to be corrected
Correction.
in the last
Okay.
moment, not on in
Okay.
the case of children. That's what she said,
Not okay.
not children. So what
Okay.
I suggest is always, make a list of children who are doing late submissions, especially 1 hour before leaving the school when they have an exam tomorrow. It so happens we make the children stay back and write a day before and all. So what we can do is we have to just put a tick mark, write seen, and mark it as late submission, and make this list and give it to your HODs or academic coordinators. Tell them that these children have submitted me today only. I couldn't do late. I couldn't do thorough checking. I have marked seen. Okay, I'll be taking back the notebooks after the exam, and then I'll be checking them. Okay, this is what we can do. That's the reason. Initially, from day 1 itself, we monitor the children. We take the notebooks once in 2 days. Okay, while we are giving the notes, we will not have this problem. This problem can be, basically, it so happens that it will come down. The frequency of this problem will reduce.
And basically get to know about that lot in the very first examination or very first test we have. In very first assessment of the class.
Yes,
so we
yes.
can make it our habit, because they are not going to make themselves better as they are children. But we have to make it a point that on few intervals, we have to just nudge them up. Let's start completing your notebooks.
Yes. So,
sorry,
yeah.
I have a question. Can I ask you?
Yes.
So, sir, this is like teachers, we are all humans, and we also are. So, while doing corrections, there are many times that we overlook mistakes.
Oh, it happens throughout our life, professional career, it happens.
Yes. How do we avoid that?
Yeah,
I mean, overlook, sometimes there are big mistakes that one overlooks, and the parents bring the notebooks. That's very embarrassing.
No.
So how do we avoid that? That is like my major concern.
So for that, there are many aspects which affect this overlooking thing. It can be the handwriting of the child. Certain times the handwriting of the children, like we understand as a teacher, as we look at many handwritings, we understand, yes, he has written I only, but it is looking like E or F, isn't it? The parent might come with that concern. यहाँ पे तो आई रहना था, आप F पे tick मार दिए. Like, this is how parents come, isn't it?
No, there are major mistakes also one overlooks.
Spelling mistakes, I understand. Yeah, spelling mistakes.
I mean, not only formation is one thing.
Of agreement is there. At times, tense is there.
Yeah,
it happens with
yeah,
us.
major. Sometimes even if a child has eaten a sentence, we overlook that also because one has a lot of correction to do.
Yes.
How do we avoid that?
So,
I mean, we need to avoid that, right? How do we do that?
Yeah, so for that, what we have to do is we have to check the notebooks timely. As I said, if you're giving meanings today and if you're giving new words today, take that day itself and correct the notebooks, and have exclusive time for correcting your question answers and creative writing. So you should be basically having this in your mind that today I'm going to check the question answers of the children. So I have to not play any music while correcting the notebooks. I have to sit in a closed room at my comfort level, whether you want to. Certain times this overlooking happens because we are not comfort and we are in a hurry to do it. Okay.
We may be preoccupied.
Yeah, we are preoccupied. We are, and in case of teachers, mostly all are busy in the evenings by making the dinner for the children. You have children, you will be having people walking into your house at times, unknown, like guests who appear. And that time, what I do is always, teacher is the person who should have 1 hour, dedicated time for post-school work.
Actually, I'll tell you this thing. This is very much common also, and ma'am also might correlate with that. That we are so much nowadays preoccupied with so many things in the school that we are not getting that much time to spend on checking. We have to just rush through the notebooks at times, and we cannot help this thing.
Exactly. I too agree with ma'am, and I want to
now
raise the
in
same
Delhi,
question.
journals are like at its peak. So we have to make them practice as well. We have to do that. And then we are not getting any free periods as well, because there might be some arrangements, or there might be some other practices going on. So we cannot take those notebooks at our end. So that is
Yes.
at times very much problematic.
So let
I
me
And
agree.
we
even,
are taking notebooks home.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I also agree that while doing corrections, you need to just do corrections. You can't multitask. You can't do that,
exactly.
okay, let's sit, let's chit chat also, and let's do our corrections also.
Now
That
there
that
is one of my doubt which arise here, and I just really want if somebody could help me in that. See, if I'm checking the notebook of 5 children, they have five there. So in
five
front of
different
there are 5
answers.
different intellects,
Hmm.
right? So their answers are also 5 variants of it.
Hmm.
Okay. So majorly when I'm checking, see, there are certain value points. If they are writing it on their own, so some students will write it at their best. So that time I'll not be having any problem in checking or something. But sometimes the child also misses some of the points. So in that case, what should I do? Shall I write the value points
Yeah.
there? Because
Yeah.
see, out of 30, 20 are going to be the weak ones, I'll say.
Yeah, but
That is
you
what
have
should I do?
you have to give credit to them for thinking on their own and expressing themselves. That you have to credit the child. But wherever you feel that you need to put in your input, just maybe a few pointers you can just put in, that you don't have to write the whole script, but just a few key points can be given.
Because I'll
That's what
tell you
I
very
feel.
frankly,
So we'll be able to tell better.
and one more thing, you would actually correlate with this thing also, that we are not allowed to send the work at WhatsApp groups or all that. So this is the major problem. Like once we are done with the question and answers, and we know that the child has to write it themselves only. Okay. And so that is a major problem that is coming over.
I
Okay,
think sir would be.
so
And
yeah.
sir already know this thing that I'm new to TGT.
So what I say is always corrections never happen without dedicated time. So this is a point which I've been emphasizing right from the beginning of our session. So it is our primary responsibility to correct the notebooks. We have to have a dedicated time after the school hours for 1 or 1.5 hours, depending upon, see, always your hard work pays you. Not always in the terms of money, but in the terms of self-satisfaction, and your children love you. So this is the only profession wherein you get unlimited and unbound love from someone who is not actually born from your womb, isn't it? So, and why your children love you? It is for the knowledge you are giving to them, and it is for the corrections you are doing to their character and their academic skills.
Sir,
Okay.
excuse me, sir. Sir, it's quite difficult for the language teachers whenever we want to them creative writing. So their answers are different. So at that time, it took a lot of time because everyone is writing their own perceptions. So how a language teacher can easily write the creative writing?
In case of language teachers, what I always suggest is bullet points are to be given to the children. It is not that you will just read out a task, maybe it's a diary writing, or maybe it is a descriptive paragraph or a narrative paragraph. It is not that blindly we will ask the children to write. You have to give bullet points to the children wherein they have to emphasize in their paragraph. 4 or 5 points, you have to emphasize definitely on these points. Okay, and mark the creativity of the child, correct the creativity of the child. Okay, and you have to give the feedback. Okay, and you can write in small points, just 1 or 2 points. You could have highlighted this, you could have written more about this. That's it. See, it is our primary duty. We cannot run away from this.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what about value-based questions? Like it is, do you think? So it is all about the perception of the student.
Of course, when it is perception of the student, we are just checking how far the child has understood the concept. If the concept has not gone completely into the mind of the child, then you will be writing there. I mean, or else you will be giving the feedback to the child. I've checked your answer. I suppose, you know, like you have to rework on the concept. You have to read the lesson again. This is what I'm telling. If we do timely corrections, again, let me give an example from my life. Okay. As I told you, even correction was not at all my cup of tea. I should say only since last 4 or 5 years, correction has become easy for me. I have seen that my principal, who has a vast experience of 17 years working with CBSE and international schools, when she had to take up classes in 4th grade, imagine principal is going into 4th grade and she is taking, so how dedicated she is as a principal. Okay, as a principal, she didn't hesitate to go into 4th grade, control 38 children. Okay, wherein she already has lots of stress. Being a principal is not easy. You have to even take care of the administration of the school. You have to take care of the staff. You have to take care of the sub-staff. You have many things to plan. You have many things as a principal to do, isn't it? But still, she didn't hesitate to walk into 4th grade. She didn't hesitate to, teach the children. And when we suggested, why don't you take the help of a helping teacher? Or why don't you, I said, please use me as your assistant teacher. I would feel privileged. What my principal said is, no, I love doing my work on my own. Okay, I will stay back for half an hour daily. I will take the books from the children. On daily basis, I will do the checking. आज मैंने new words दी, तो आज मैं new words check करके ही जाऊंगी. Then I will not have stress. Is it better to do half an hour work on daily basis, or to stress yourself, cry, okay, while doing the corrections before the exams? Which one is better? So, as it is our responsibility, we are these days, irrespective of being a woman or a man, everyone know how to organize ourselves. Okay, while we are walking out for work early in the morning, we organize all the things, especially cooking. If you have to cook vegetables, lots of cutting is happening. We cut them and we keep it in the refrigerator a day before. Early morning, we wake up, we clean them and we start cooking, isn't it? If we can organize our household things, we can definitely organize our corrections also. It is about how dedicated you are, how much interested you are towards your profession. Only thing, a teacher, irrespective of the experience, irrespective of, what classes you are teaching, a teacher should dedicate 1 hour at least in her life. Most of the teachers sitting here, you are from North India, if I'm not wrong. For you, the schools finish at 2:30. Okay. Teachers, especially from South India, especially from Telangana, I am from Telangana, our school finishes at 3:30. By the time the last child walks out of the school, it is 4:30. So imagine the plight of teachers who are working in such sort of conditions and doing the corrections. Okay, at least North Indian teachers, they are going 1.5 hours before to home. Isn't it? So irrespective of all these things, we have to give dedicated time to do our corrections on daily basis. 1 hour, that's it. That is our primary responsibility. We cannot run away from that.
Sir, I have one doubt. That is like in primary classes, like till last year when I was taking primary classes, there was a certain pattern I was following in literature. Like we had 5 assignments compulsorily of all the chapters. Assignment 1, calligraphy. Assignment 2, word meaning, sentences. Then assignment 3 is for dictation. Sorry, the difficult words. Then assignment 4 for this question and answers. Assignment 5, this is dictation, and assignment 6, one activity. See, now in TGT, when I'm into TGT with the senior classes, in like 6th onwards, I'll say, the children are in a habit of making a cover page, irrespective I've told them or not. They are into this thing. They are very much spending that lavish half an hour or 1 hour at home, making that beautiful cover page. But the parents are coming up to me complaining that, ma'am, why is this work needed? Because the child is every time escaping from the study and saying that, ma'am, ne to cover page ke liye bola hai and we have to make that. So what pattern? Like I told you my PRT pattern. These were the 6 assignments which I used to do. So what kind of pattern I can follow for 6th onwards?
See, this cover page and stuff, what happens is, it is out of the always remember, children are always into colors, into drawing, into craft, you know, until 10th grade only they can do. Afterwards, they cannot do all these things. So let them enjoy doing it and give some credit for that also. For cover page, if you are telling that
I
I'll
always
give,
give good remarks because at times that shows me that which student is a good artist also.
Isn't it? And we're emphasizing on art these days a lot. So you have to educate your parents, you know, that's it. If the parent is coming and telling, why don't you let the child do because he loves doing it? How much time are they going to waste? If we talk about the theory of the time, lots of time a human being has wasted in sleeping 8 hours a day, isn't it? So it is not time waste. It is brushing the artistic skills in the child. Let him do more and more art. It is good for him. This is how we have to tell the parents.
Apart from this, what pattern should I follow for the class assignments? For 6th onwards?
See, you know, like it depends completely upon what do we say, the culture of your school. That's what I say. What your headmistress has asked.
I think I should just talk to my academic in charge and she will guide me that on which
basic things. Basic things as you're a literature teacher. Basic things is new words. Okay, like what do we say? Word meanings, vocabulary, how they are using framing on sentences, or whether they are using the words which they have learned in their creative writing. So this should be the pattern: question and answers, and then creative writing, and then some art integration, and then some project related to the what do we say, like the lesson. This is the pattern which we need to follow. This is standard pattern for whichever subject it is. That's what I feel. Rest it depends upon your principal's decisions. New words, meanings. Okay, if we have good time and if we think our children can do, we can use word usage, that is framing own sentences from the words that they have learned, then question and answers, and then creative writing, and finally art integration. You can give marks for art integration. After every chapter, do some art integration that is related to the lesson. You can use it as a subject.
Creative writing, is it necessary that something should be like diary entry or note making or something like that?
Basically,
or can I add up any value-based question also?
No. Most of the lessons, they have got 1 or 2 topics of writing. Either a diary right at the back. So that we have to take that into creative writing aspect.
Got it.
That's it. Nothing else. Yeah. But make sure that the words, new words which the children are learning in that particular lesson, they are using in creative writing. Just say, if you use all the words that you have learned in this lesson, I'll give you extra 2 marks. Bachche zarur karenge. If they are not doing that, there is no use of learning those words, right? That's how it is.
Thank you, sir.
So, and the last 2 slides are really important because we are all teachers. So basically we are motivators and facilitators. The word, the teacher is no more in usage now, isn't it? So in classroom, we have to ensure the quality of the education and quality of the surroundings. A good teacher always creates a learner-friendly environment and shows faith in the capacity of each individual. The children should feel that my teacher believes in me. My teacher believes in my capabilities. Okay, this assurance you have to give through your body language, through the way you greet your children and stuff. Okay, mostly 8 to 10% of students in classroom, or certain times it is more than that. Okay, they don't show interest in writing notes and stuff. So we have to admit it to our profession. Yes, but still I have to motivate such sort of children. It is our basic responsibility. So never use harsh words or discouraging words towards children. Okay, always use respectful comments. Okay, always keep the dignity of the children also. As individuals, they have got their own dignity. And when you give respect towards others, when you respect your children, they just not only respect you, but they love you as a teacher. Okay, so there is a very, like thin line being a good teacher and a strict teacher. Okay, a good teacher can be a strict teacher, but not all strict teachers can be good teachers. Certain times strict teachers become only strict teachers. Okay, so have faith in your children. Try to make sure that your children believe in you. Assure the child that you are molding him or her. And mistakes, who doesn't make mistakes? If you look into history, there is no person, there is no individual, a famous personality who hasn't committed any mistakes. We are human beings, we do mistakes. Just what we have to do is we have to beautify the mistakes in the second run. So as teachers, be a game changer. That's what I say. So here ends our session of the day. If you have any questions, you people can ask one after the other. I'll try to address my level best. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Sir, you said that for higher grades and all, like we need to make the child write their own answers, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So in that case, suppose slow learners, in case of slow learners, they do not know the proper spellings. Okay, fine, we can correct it. The vocabulary that has to be used, even though we give them the key points or key words, they are not able to form a sentence, proper sentence. In that case, what has to be done, sir? Because we don't have a homogeneous classroom, we have a heterogeneous classroom, right? Even SEN children are also there. We have inclusive classrooms also. So for those kind of children or for late bloomers, what could be the strategy that can be adopted?
So in the recent NCF conference, G20 conference, our educational leaders, they have suggested that we have to encourage peer learning. Okay, so what you can do is and there is one more concept called as each one teach one. So what you can do is you can select the best children in your classroom and you can hand over these children to them. So
we do follow that. There is a buddy teacher, student buddy teacher for the children.
Yes.
But still that does not work out properly because they are also of the same age group, right?
No, it is not like that. No, what if they are of same age group? Only thing is he is writing something, isn't it? One second, let me complete.
And sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, we don't have time for that. Na? We have to cover the syllabus also, and so when we can give them the time for this learning, such kind of learning.
No, like
also, sir, at times this buddy teacher concept, this cannot be fruitfully used as they are not listening to that child. Because in front of the teacher, they will definitely listen. But once the teacher is out of the room or is not around,
yes, fine, right,
don't try to be my teacher. That is the first comment they say.
Yeah, so that's what they tend to play with them after a little while. That's what I meant to say.
Now, let me address this. First and foremost thing is there is no point of teacher moving out of the class. Teacher has to be in the class.
How it would be possible, sir?
No. Once period is over, you can move out of the class. Why are you bothered what the child is doing when you are out of the class? You need
so,
not
sir,
bother.
if we run after such kind of students, so how we will complete the syllabus, sir? There is the problem of syllabus also, no?
Ma'am, let me give my complete.
Yes, sir.
This answer to this.
First
and foremost thing is, children always need appreciation. And children always need marks. So when you are grouping the class, it is not that you will always keep certain children to the same group always. You have to change the group also. Interpersonal skills also has to be developed among the children, first thing. And second thing is that you make a group chart and paste it on the wall. Okay. and you make sure you have to create this zeal, this competitive spirit among the children, that if your group is not doing properly, you will be getting less marks. You know, may not be for the first time, may not be for the second time.
System.
Okay, so I don't see, if I have to answer you people for this question, I can just end up this conversation saying that aap apna notes de dijiye. But as a teacher, not as a trainer, as a teacher who has been trained in NEP 2020, as a teacher who is working upon NCF 2023, I will never give that answer. So CBSE is not emphasizing upon content. CBSE is emphasizing on quality. It might take some time. It might take 1 year for the child. Ma'am, most of you people have attended my handwriting session, isn't it? It took 2 years for me to change one child's handwriting. I've started teaching him in grade 2. You don't believe, in grade 3, the last, not in grade 3, grade 2 annual day report. After the annual exam, the progress report where we give, the father came to me and he said, I will take you to task, Mr. Ravikant, by next year. It is my basic necessity that my child should have proper handwriting, because I'm paying lakhs of fees. And if my child is unable to write properly, then what should I call you as a teacher? This is what a parent told on my face. I am an academic coordinator in the school in front of the teachers. Okay. And it took 2 to 3 years. I struggled. I told I'm struggling. It will take more time because the child is not like the other children. He said, nothing doing. I am not a teacher. It is your duty. I am a father. Okay. So it took 3 years for me. It took 3 years for me. And it is recently that the handwriting of the child has changed. And in 4th grade, the child is able to write the manuscript handwriting without mistakes. It will take time. And don't go behind timelines, go behind concept only. You tell maybe you might have to hear, but always remember, at the end of the day, there are 2 questions that you have to ask yourself as a teacher. Am I teaching properly? Am I following proper conduct as a teacher in teaching? And what is the proper conduct? Delivering the concept, not quantity. Okay, so this is what we have to think. And as you people said, in the case of late bloomers, observe them, how much time they are taking. Change the groups again and again. Definitely in one or the other group, the child will get motivated. He might find a friend who is helping. Don't keep the children to the same person always. No, change. That's what I say. Change. Finally, if the child is unable to do, then you give your master copy to him. That's what we can do.
Ravikant sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I can understand the concerns of teachers here, because every school, what happens is management give more priority to the parents. So completion of portion is a must for the private teachers, in fact. Okay. So if they have taken big books from the private publishers, yes, NCERT is easy to complete. But when we take it from the private publishers, the book's content is too much, and teachers really find it very difficult to complete the portions. So if they don't complete, then the next parents come and bombard. So all these things, amidst all these things, when teachers give the question answers, children write the question answers, it becomes so tedious, because no schools are having less than 40 students now. 40 students, heterogeneous group, taking every book, correcting is really difficult, I feel, because they have to write their own answer. Yes, I do agree, because children have to start writing on their own. But it's not that very easy to correct the books also, sir.
Yes. So, in my sessions wherein I was teaching poetry and prose, many questions, especially English teachers who have 3 books to complete, a workbook, course book, literature book, English teachers have asked me these questions. Then what I said is, there is something called as year planning. As a teacher, you always have the right to walk into the cabin of your principal and say, ma'am, each lesson, democratically, if we think each lesson to be completed from this book will take this much of time, it is not practically possible. So basically what we do is we do literature in notes and we do communicative English in classroom. Okay, and we reduce the amount of written work of the children. Only one textbook is considered for notes. For doing that, yes, the time will be definitely sufficient. If you are giving question and answers from both communicative textbook, from literature textbook, and again, if you are making them to write something extra, then it is practically not possible. 1 year will not be sufficient. This message you have to give it to your one thing. See, your professionals.
Sir, good evening, sir. I have a question.
Yes.
Can I ask?
Yeah, please, of course.
Yeah. I'm attending this workshop from Doha. The thing is that we are teaching in the primary section. So sometimes in grade 2, children are very slow in writing because we have teachers copy as per the content. We have to just complete the notebook work. So from we start the notebook work from, suppose the session is on Sunday, the class is starting from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we teach 2 days, Sunday and Monday, and then we start with a notebook work from Tuesday. So in such case, sometimes we very much find difficult to finish the notebook work. So in this case, what is your suggestion, sir?
First and foremost thing is no school can force teachers to give the answers as it is there in the teacher's manual. Okay. Teacher can make her own answers also depending upon the age of the children, depending upon the classroom structure. Depending upon your classroom structure, you have to frame your answers, make it easy and understandable for your children. Every answer need not be 10 to 15 lines of width. Okay.
No. We are not giving lengthy answers because we have 14 sections, but here the system is that all the 14 sections are following the same pattern. So teacher cannot give on her own way.
Yes.
We follow only one pattern. So in such cases, sometimes we cannot complete the notebook work. But we have to pull it.
Which subject do you teach and what all you give in the notebook, ma'am?
For example, we are teaching English. As you said, we give new words, meanings, words, usage, question answers, and creative writing. It depends on the topic. And sometimes it depends on the topic. Yeah. So sometimes it is difficult to complete within the time limit of those, from Sunday.
No, in second grade, you should always have your helping teacher. In most cases, why children write slowly is because there is no one to monitor them. And first thing, the teacher will be busy writing on the board, isn't it? And so what we have to emphasize upon, especially in classes 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, you have to make the children repeat after you because they are into preparatory stages. So children make sure,
we write a word and I ask the children to copy. But
no. For example, if you're writing an answer, you have to say the answer outside and children have to repeat after you. Okay, that's how you have. Then what happens is mostly all the children try to come, equally along with the teacher, to write along with the teacher. In certain cases, there will be children who are really slow. So in grade 2 and all, you should always have helping teachers with you who will monitor the children and who will always be encouraging the children to write the answer. She has to take. So then you have to ask your principal. Just a second, guys. Okay, so you have to ask for an helping teacher. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, but this is not that I can only just tell to
I'm a
because
this
decision should be taken by the management. But I'll put forward the suggestion that you have said.
Yes, ma'am. Please do.
Sir, I am a science teacher. I wanted to ask that few of my students know the concept, but they are not able to frame the answer. I mean, they know the concept that like this is photosynthesis, what happens in photosynthesis, and they know carbon dioxide, water, everything is used, but they cannot frame in a sentence to how to assess them during the our periodic test or in the examination. How to assess them if they are writing just carbon dioxide and water, just like this. So how to assess them? Can we give them the marks?
So first and foremost thing is, in core subjects, we give marks for the key points also. If the child is unable to write, frame the sentence and write, if he is just mentioning what are the elements included in photosynthesis, what are the steps and all, for that also we will give marks. Okay. If the child is really unable to frame the sentence and all, then you have to give remediation to the child. The child should stay back. He should start learning, from basic level. Without basics, nothing can happen, isn't it? So that is the only go which we can.
And sir, if there is 1 mark question like fill in the blanks and anything else, the 1 word questions, so in which if the spelling is wrong, can we deduct the half mark for the spelling? And we know that child knows the answer, but the spelling is wrong, a little wrong, like A or E is wrong. So should we give the marks, or should we deduct the half mark for this?
You just highlight the mistake and give the marks.
Give them the, if this is only
highlight
1 mark.
the mistake. Yeah, if it is only 1 mark, there is no point in cutting half mark. Okay. So highlight the mistake and give the mark.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for such.
Yes. Anyone else? Okay. So I suppose we have come to an end with the session. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the session. So if anyone is willing to collect your certificate, then you have to wait. Matthew sir, our admin, will be sharing a link in the group. Okay. So through that link, you can pay 21 rupees for the certificate and you can download the certificate. Those who don't want to, take a certificate, it is up to you. Like, you need not take also. So stay tuned. And tomorrow we have got a session on NCF. The people who are interested can join. It's a paid session. So we have already shared the details. We have shared the flyer of the session and all. Those who are interested can pay and join.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Good evening. Yeah,
Yes.
this is Geeta Khurana. I'm from Delhi. Actually, sir, I was just trying to connect in the meeting, but due to the participants limit, I was not able to attend. So will you take this session again in coming days, or you'll take the new one?
I mean, we'll be taking the session again. At that time, you can join.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, do we have the recording of this section?
Recording of the session, I have to see, ma'am, whether it can be shared or not. I'll just check and I'll definitely do the needful.
Please share with us if you have the recording, because for few moments I was not there. I want to attend the full session.
Sure.
If you allow us. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Here we are ending our session. So thank you so much for joining and, coming up with your doubts and, also, coming up with suggestions. Many of them have come up with good suggestions also. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Good night. Take care. Happy learning.
Good night, sir. Thank you.